Hey guys, welcome back to the Rebelton channel. Yet another video about the same subject again. Oh my god, I look like shit. And this is the direct result of taking care of 3 kids on my own for the past 3 weeks, day in, day out, because the wife is on holiday back in Hong Kong. So I feel terrible and I look terrible. Yeah, that is pretty apparent. Anyway, talking about the Azodin KP3. So I want to reiterate how much of a value for money this product is. It's such an amazing pump for the money. I really like it. To put it in contrast, if you have not seen my previous videos, I also have owned in the past 4 CCM markers, 2 CCM T2s, one S6 and one series 6.5 and also a series 5, so actually 5 CCM pumps. I forgot about that fifth one. So 5 CCM pumps, of which my favorite was the series 6. The other ones were okay. And I also own 2 Empire snipers, of which I still have one that's fully decked out with Inception design parts. The reason why I got the CCM pumps in the first place was because everybody is raving about it in the pump scene. CCM are the bee's knees. Those are the ones you want to ultimately get, and they're really great pumps. Honestly, they really shoot really well and smooth. But I felt my Empire sniper that was way cheaper and just with a few modifications was shooting just as good, and I actually preferred the handling of the Empire sniper over most of my CCM pumps, which is interesting. That's me. That's just a personal flavor, and I always wanted to get myself an Azodin KP3, and they're dirt cheap. New and secondhand. Secondhand, you can get them for less than $200, and I wouldn't sleep on that. I would highly recommend you get one or 2. I definitely will be hunting down another one if I ever find one for cheap in Europe, because in Europe they're not that commonly available, unfortunately, as in the US. But if I see more of them, I will pick them up and have more backup markers. But what I really like about the Azodin KP3 over all the other pumps I mentioned is 2 things. The big front block, which is the pump handle. The pump handle stroke. It's a relatively long but relatively light relatively light stroke. It's actually quite low in resistance. Really nice, actually. I really like that. I like that big beefy block there. It just feels nice in the hand. I love the long travel take up of the trigger. It's also spongy and soft. Not a real clear breaking point. Yeah, here's the breaking point, but there's so much slack in that breaking point, so you can't really rely on that. So I just release the trigger fully and shoot again each time I shoot. I prefer that. And overall, the feeling of it is a bit sloppy. You can feel that spring moving inside that marker. There's some side-to-side slop. You can fix that with a 3D printed slat. Some people sell that on the Etsy. Might do that in the future, but I don't really feel I need it. The only real need for me, that will be to basically fill up the gap here so no debris go in, because that's a big slit here that exposes your hammer and your hammer spring, and all that crap gets in there, and it definitely will gunk up the marker and cause FPS issues. So that's a big downy that I have to fix, but with a 3D slat for a couple of dollars, and that's fixed. I had no issues with the regulator seat yet. That is a common issue that they break on the Azodin KP3s or Azodin pumps and markers in general. If that happens, I fix it and it will be fine again, no worries. But yeah, what I really like about this marker is it's more of a mid to short engagement marker. So you have to be a bit more aggressive than with some other pumps that have a better range and drop off of the paintballs. For example, my Empire Sniper has a drop off that is similar to any other modern marker, and this one is slightly shorter. They start to drop off, the paintballs start to drop off a bit earlier. You can feel that, you can see that. It's also not the straightest shooter. I do feel paintballs deviate a little bit more from left to right than with my Empire Sniper. The consistency over the chrono is also less with the Azodin KP3. I get variations between 15 to 20 BPS between shots at times, just over the chrono, whereas with my fully upgraded Empire Sniper, it's just a deviation of 1, 2, 3, sometimes 5 BPS. It's very tight tolerance there, and yeah, it's just a huge difference. And every time I pick up the Empire Sniper and I play with it for a couple of rounds, yeah, you notice that is definitely the better performing pump marker. I can definitely notice it. But on the other hand, I have the most fun and the most body hits with this marker overall. It's just noticeable. When I play with this marker, I play way better. I play more comfortable than with my other pumps I ever done with my other pumps. This pump is so nice to play with. I can feel it's much better. I know much better that this marker has more limitation in range and accuracy for me and my paint and my playing style. Then I have to be more upfront and close, and that's where I shine a lot more with this marker. I definitely feel the big difference between play styles, and I 100% prefer playing with the Azodin KP3 because it's not, as I said, it's just a little bit lacking in certain departments in terms of a pump. You have to make it up yourself, and that's, I don't know, there's something really satisfying about it. Plus this thing is super robust. It's just chunky, big, heavy. It's just, there's not much that can break on it. It's just a heavy duty pump gun, and I actually kind of like that. Because my CCM pumps and my zone and my Empire Snipers, they're thinner, more frail feeling. They're more like a performance product, and this is more like your all day heavy duty paintball equipment, like your entry level paintball equipment. It just works and you have fun with it. I also do very low maintenance on it. I hardly clean it. I just wipe off the sand and dust and debris, and I mean, keep using it again. I'm gonna see how much abuse he can take, how many weeks, months without proper maintenance he just will keep functioning before I get like issues with FPS or an O-ring that blows or whatever. I'm just gonna check it out, how reliable it is with low maintenance, just for the fun of it, and because these things are dirt cheap to pick up. It's really not a difficulty to get your hands on one of these unless you live in Europe. They're a bit harder on the second-hand market to find, and with a little bit, I mean pretty hard. I found this marker shipped for 230 euros from Germany only after, I think, a couple of years of looking around on both the German sell site and the Dutch sell sites, and Facebook pages. They seldom pop up. And I think it's also a testimony to the Azodin KP3 that in general they just work, and people just have them, and then they keep them as a backup or backup of a backup, or sometimes just pull it out for playing some pump. But what I do notice, especially where I live, in pump and MagFat is increasingly becoming popular, especially MagFat play. So the whole game of paintball is slowing down again from the whole speedball craze to a slower pace and a more enjoyable pace to play pump with, because you're still on the on the lower end of spectrum in general with a pump. You have the lowest rate of fire, you just have the most inconvenience. And if you play with a lot of dudes that have MagFed guns, it's much more forgiving. So that's a bonus as well. So if you want to get into pump, that's something to consider. But yeah, whatever people say about all these different pumps, there's definitely truth to them, to what they say. I do believe CCM makes really great pumps, but the resale value these days is like $1,200 for just a plain T2, whereas this, you can have like 6 of these basically secondhand, and yeah, you can have a party with all your friends and play pump basically for 1 CCM. And honestly, on the field, it's gonna be coming down to mostly the player that makes the biggest difference with a pump. The pump makes difference as well, yeah, that's true, but not as much, or not nearly as much as the person using it. It's all about your play style, your play experience, and your insight on the field, and communication, and skill sets you acquired over the years of just playing the game. This is just perfect for that. There's nothing wrong with it at all. It just works. It does its job. I have a ton of fun with it, and it doesn't break the bank at all. I actually want to try to take it out to a speedball training soon. Just use this as my main and the speedball training. See how I fare with it. I really like the fact that it doesn't have an auto trigger as well. That really feels beneficial to me. I know a lot of people want to have the auto trigger because they want to do that quick follow-up shot, but I feel like doing a full pump stroke and then release that trigger, stabilize the marker a bit more between each shot, slower rate of fire. This is like the auto trigger style. You see your markers constantly, your pump is constantly moving, shaking a little bit. And doing this, you have a split seconds to let the marker stabilize straight again, and do your follow-up shots those way. I really think there's a way better play style for pump, for me personally, than using an auto trigger. Even if you do run and gun, I feel it's more accurate. Way more accurate, because I'm much more focused on where the paintballs go, because I have to do one by one, where in the past with, for example, a couple of weekends ago with my Empire Sniper, I tried to run down somebody auto triggering, and I missed every shot, and it was like 10 meters away from him, and I missed every shot. I was like, I'm blindsided. I was just like trusting too much on that shakiness of the auto trigger, and it doesn't work for me. When I do this 1x1, they get 1-2 balls on the back, 100%. So again, this little video, or this 14-minute video, is really a love letter to the Azodin KP3. I think it's great value for money, and I highly recommend anybody to pick one up and put it in a gear bag and just take it out more often when they're playing some rec ball, because it's really fun. Thank you, Azodin. Take care.